You could be like the Sharks, who's clearly going to break down everything and start all over from the top here. So good old Timo time is no more time.
That's right. It's Timo time to go to New Jersey. So the Sharks sent Timo Meier off to the New Jersey Devils in a massive trade, 13 pieces overall between only two teams. That's one of the biggest ones that I could ever think of. In terms of just two teams, like not getting a third and a fourth team to like
it's one of the biggest ones.
Picks around. God, but being a pervert, Sam. God damn it. This is sports.
So Timo
Okay.
Meier is like he's the big shark of the bunch.
Yeah, he's a big name. The Devils are going to get Timo Meier, Scott Harrington, and then down in the minors, you got a couple of minor league players and a 5th round pick from Colorado in 2024. And then the Sharks are going to get the 2023 first round pick of the Devils, 2024 conditional 2nd round pick, which becomes a first if the Devils make the conference final either this season or next season, and Timo Meier plays 50% of those games in the playoffs. And then they also got 4 other three minor league players. One is an older player and a 2024 7th round pick as a throw in as well to make it all balance.
So it's
out
basically
correctly.
the Sharks are getting a 1 and a 2 or a 1 and a 1.
That's right.
Okay.
And then a bunch of other players to help make the math and the numbers work out.
So Timo Meier, if this was like a football trade, Timo Meier would be like a what in comparison to a football player?
Well, he's a power forward, so I mean, you're talking, like a running back that's a very heavily used running back,
right?
But
you get like a 1 or a 1 and a 1.
Yeah,
1 and a 2 or 1.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking
like a good trade, right?
Yeah, I give it a B. I think there could have been a possibility to get a little bit more, but I mean, I don't think they wanted to trade him in the conference, and definitely not to Vegas. So, but also, Vegas was the other team that was in the mix, and so if
New
the packages
Jersey's
were similar.
New Jersey's 1st round pick is a 28th overall pick, so it's I don't know.
Well, right now, because it's based on where they're position for
currently it's 28th.
So it's a late 1st round pick, and it'll be a late 1st round pick next year or late 2nd round pick next year, depending on what they do in the playoffs in the next 2 years. So I mean, that's still to be determined.
I think what bums me out about it all is that we're clearly, I mean, nobody was going to take his contract, but I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to describe it, but basically, why am I drawing a blank on his name?
Erik Karlsson.
His time's wasted here,
a little bit. Yeah. He actually had some comments about that, and it sounds like he's willing to waive his no trade clause if a suitor comes along, is what it sounds like. If somebody in contention comes along, he's certainly willing to move his contract, be able to move, because he has the no trade clause in there. Right. Logan Couture is also probably not, all that thrilled about it, but the window is just not lining up with Timo's entering his prime right now, but the Sharks aren't, ready to win for another 3 or 4 years, maybe, depending on how the financials all work out. So it's just, it wasn't lining up, and Timo's going to get at least $10 million next year for a qualifying offer because he's a restricted free agent. So the Sharks are going to pay 50% of the rest of this year's salary, which ends up being less than $1 million. It's not a big deal. And then that's it. So they're off the hook going forward from Timo's contract. So it's just this year they have to worry about the money for Timo. The big question, of course, is Erik Karlsson. Now that's a big piece that can get a lot back in return, and he's another one that's in his prime. He's having a career year, a career type year. If you watch him play, he's one of the best offensive defensemen in the league. That's that's clear. But every now and then, like he'll make this boneheaded play, and he's good enough to like make up for it, like a turnover, in a high in the offensive zone that could get sent the other way, but then he's able to backtrack and correct it most of the time. So you get a little bit of a cardio workout watching him play sometimes, but he's supremely talented, and I expect if he's not moved before the trade deadline on March 3rd, I would fully expect he'll be moved in the offseason to a contender, and that's and they're probably gonna have to make some money right as well. So
do you think it would be like a couple of ones or like something similar to what Timo Meier was?
It'll probably be a similar type package, I would imagine. Erik Karlsson is a former Norris Trophy winner, which is the top defenseman in the league. So he's still in his prime. So you have to imagine you're going to get some really high quality picks or
players
talent back.
or players coming back.
Yeah. But of course the salary is the big issue.
Scott Harrington is already on waivers.
Yeah. Scott Harrington was a throw in. He's a back of the depth chart defenseman. That was also
is hockey
in.
Similar to basketball where you have to like make some of the money match in the transaction?
A little bit. It's more about just the salary cap, just making sure that you stay under the salary cap. And so sometimes you have to throw in extra players and pieces to try to make the money work for yourself. And same with the other team. So that's why a lot of these minor leaguers come back, is to try to because they obviously don't count toward the salary cap. So you want some of those pieces back.
I'm hearing that I'm reading, I should say, that Fabian Zetterlund is probably our best out of all the prospects that we got from the Devils. I guess he's just a really like quick and energetic forward, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
He was probably their like fourth best prospect ish, something like that. So he's a pretty high prospect in their system, but he's not one of the top three guys. That's what I have seen other people say. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on the New Jersey Devils minor league system, but that's what other people are saying. So just so that way, the listener, what to expect. He's a high value talent, but he's not top three in their system. So yeah.
Well, the Sharks last week, they took an L against Nashville, 6-2. Took another L against Chicago, 4-3 in overtime.
Actually, that was a shootout. That's my fault. I was there. It was a shootout.
Set me up for failure. Currently 18-30-12. Where are we at with the Duck Hunt?
They are currently in 7th place. They still have Anaheim in the rearview mirror. Bang, bang, quack, quack, motherfucks.
And you went to one of these games, yes?
I did. I went to the Chicago game. That was on Saturday, and that was Patrick Marleau's jersey retirement night. So they took the number 12, put it on a banner, and they sent it up to the rafters. Nobody else is going to wear number 12 in teal, and it's an honor, well-deserved. And we talked about it last week, and you guys were saying like over under how many times I'm going to cry. The answer is none. I got close a couple of times, but
not even like one like thug tear.
No. But my dad was sitting right next to me and said something really stupid or weird, and it just kind of took me out of it for a second. I'm like, crap. That Joe Thornton was crying enough for everybody though. So and so was Patrick. It was a lovely ceremony. It ran late.
What did your dad say?
I don't even remember. It was totally like just not even related to what was going on. I don't even remember. I was like, Dad, what? Come on, focus.
Do you think that hot dog on the ground still edible?
No, it wasn't like that. I was like, come on, Dad, come on. I'm trying to watch the thing here.
So a lot of the alumni were out, yeah?
Oh yeah, they had about 40 different players, former players show up. You had Owen Nolan and Tommy Wingles, like to give you a range. It was like
Wingles,
former captains and guys that were around for just a couple of years.
Was Nabby there?
Gino, Evgeny Nabokov, he was there.
That's my favorite goalie, only due to his name. And we have like a little like a shark pillow, you know, or like
Oh,
you can like.
yeah.
Anyways, Lisa named it Nabby after him. So
Oh, that's very cute.
yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there was a lot of players and guys that are still playing but couldn't be there. Like Joe Pavelski, they sent in like a a minute and a half little video tribute. It was a very nice, well done ceremony. I'm really glad I was able to be there. I actually spent up a little bit and sat on the attacking side for the first and the third period. Normally I'm on the defending side, which is like the cheapest seats in the second deck. But I spent up a little bit for the ceremony and everything. And wouldn't you fucking know it, the banner got hung on the defensive end. So like once it got behind the scoreboard, I couldn't see it. So I had to watch it on the scoreboard get hung up the rest of the way. But it was, overall, it was a very lovely ceremony. And I was in 208, so I was like right behind the net in the attacking zone. And my brother and his wife and his daughter, they were sitting in the very top row. And right behind them are all the fancy ass suites where all the former players like Joe Thornton and Joel Ward and everybody was there. And actually in the ceremony, they did something really cool. They brought some players from other teams in the Bay Area who have had their jerseys retired.
Oh,
so
I did see that.
They brought out Barry Bonds from the Giants. They brought out Chris Mullin from the Warriors, and they brought out Raleigh Fingers from the A's. So, and Patrick Marleau kind of joined the club of Bay Area jersey retired.
That's really
dudes.
cool.
Yeah, so that was a very, very cool moment. And I was very, very stoked. And I'm glad that they found somebody from the A's history to show up too, and they could get them there. I know Ricky's been to a few games, but maybe Ricky was busy at spring training or whatever. Raleigh's old enough that he doesn't got shit going on. So
I can imagine them asking Ricky Henderson, and Ricky Henderson being like, Ricky Henderson doesn't do ice.
No, I mean, Ricky's like, he's done, like he's been at the game. He's been one of the guys to hype up the crowd for playoffs and opening the door for the players to come out.
Yeah.
Like he's been the hype man before. So he's been there. Cool. He's got a Sharks jersey with his name on it, So I think he's probably just unavailable, probably helping out with spring training type stuff with the team. So I was very, cool. very, very thrilled to be there. I actually have a puck with Patrick Marleau on it, and I tried to get an autograph for it, but it didn't quite work out. So but he still lives here. So we'll
probably
see.
Lives in Santana Row,
I'm gonna knock on his door and
no, I mean, like I'll be at a game and I'll have the puck with me. Maybe he'll be there. I don't know. I'm gonna I'll tell you what, that puck's never going back to work with me though until I get it signed. I'm just gonna, anytime I go to a Sharks game, I'm gonna bring it with. You never know.
Vince and his dad are gonna show up to his house, and they're gonna knock on the door, and his dad's gonna be like, "Hey, is that hot dog still good to eat?"
God damn it! I'm trying to cry here.
You know
God
what's
damn
funny,
it,
Vince, is I was listening to the radio. This is kind of falls in line with knocking on somebody's house. Is on the radio station, one of the hosts was talking about he has a rat infestation, and it's the radio host that lives in your family's
oh yeah,
it's that person. So I'm not gonna say his name, but it was that person was on there saying that. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, I know where you live. I know you have rats. Like, dude, I was like, oh no.
I gotta text my family member that lives near him and ask if he has a rat problem. As well.
Dude, it was heck of funny.
I better actually check in on that. That's a good call.
Well, good. I'm glad that we got a first take of the actual ceremony. Did you get any pictures?
I got a few of them actually. Yeah. They actually had a pre-game ceremony type thing. They had a DJ and a bunch of the former players walking down the teal carpet, and then they paused for photos with the Sharks backdrop, and it was very, very cool. And I had a blast being there. My brother Tony bought a little SJ Sharky for his daughter, and
nice.
And so she was like chewing on his nose, the entire time because she's a toddler. And it was very cute. He thought he thought she dropped it at some point too, and it ended up being in my car. So whew. That was a nightmare. He was like freaking out. He's like, oh my God, I spent $35 on this stupid fucking Sharky thing and it's already gone in like 2 hours. But no, no worries. The shark is in our possession. Everybody had a good time. And yeah, that was the only thing I wish we could have got that win. But, as for the game itself, there was actually a goal overturned. Like they went and reviewed it and they found that the Sharks, the tying goal was offside. So, they had to go and score again later. And what could have been 4-3 ended up only being 3-3. And then it went to overtime and the shootout. And well, shit.
You're listening to the SVT podcast. Subscribe on YouTube and hit the bell to get alerts when we post new episodes. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at SVT Sports Pod. Slide into our DMs. We would love to interact with you.